It's the 8th of October and I'm Tom Glass and welcome to The Roast. Now last night John Faulkner said he wanted to end the stench of corruption within the Labor Party. But honestly, corruption can't smell that bad because otherwise why would everyone in Labor keep swimming in it? It's like piss in a pool. Once it's there, it's going to affect everyone. And while they might want to get it out, where else can Labor go? So stop pissing in the goddamn pool, Labor. Here's Mark Humphries with the headlines. You dirty little monkeys.
The federal government has backed down on its plan to make unemployed people apply for 40 jobs a month. Don't worry though, they still have plenty more shit ideas. Employment Services Minister Erica Betts, seen here hissing as a display of dominance, announced the job application requirement will be kept at the current rate of 20 jobs a month because 40 is a burden for some.
Whilst we are very strongly of the view that a job seeker should have as their full-time job gaining employment, we do understand that for business it would be a burden.
Oh, I know. It's such a burden when they can't get those job applications to go through the basketball hoop that's above the rubbish bin. It's also been revealed some government sources have privately admitted that the plan to make young people under 30 wait 6 months for the Dole won't go ahead, which is a shame because according to a parliamentary report, that waiting period might have breached our international human rights obligations, and the Abbott government was only one human rights breach away from getting a free The UN Hates Me t-shirt. An email scam targeting Australia Post customers has temporarily affected the ABC's broadcasting systems. The attack on the ABC reportedly came from Russia and not the usual suspect, the Australian government. According to the ABC, the scam created technical difficulties for ABC News 24, meaning they had to broadcast standby programming from 9:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. So that's half an hour less of ABC programming, or what Malcolm Turnbull calls a down payment. The disruption also meant the network was forced to temporarily rebrand as ABC News 23.5. The fake emails pretended to be from Australia Post, but there were a couple of giveaways. Most notably, they were emails from Australia Post. The email tricks people into opening an attachment, which then demands you pay to recover your computer files, as opposed to the real Australia Post, who demand you come and collect your package within 2 weeks, or they, I don't know, throw it in a volcano or something. The email also instructs the recipient to go to their local post office to collect the package. And just a friendly reminder that your local Australia Post office is open for a couple of hours a day on days you can't get there. Scientists in Queensland have discovered a rare berry which could be used to fight cancer. Finally, something I can eat that doesn't give me cancer. The experimental drug derived from the berry has been tested on cats, dogs and horses. As you can see, this dog had a tumour so chumpy you could carve it, but following treatment the tumour was gone, meaning the dog was able to get back to more important work, like humping a stuffed toy. The doctor leading the study said the tumours disappeared and had not come back in 75% of cases, or 525% in dog percentages. The discovery is a potential breakthrough for the treatment of certain cancers on humans, especially those with tumours on their muzzle. Still no cure for man's biggest killer though, death. And finally, Willie Nelson, the country music legend who says "you were always on my mind," assuming that you were marijuana, is in the news after his trademark braids were sold at auction for $37,000 US. The braids had previously belonged to fellow country artist Waylon Jennings, who was given Nelson's braids at a 1983 party to celebrate Jennings' sobriety, or what Alcoholics Anonymous refers to as its ill-conceived 13th step. For The Roast, I'm Mark Humphries.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, you know, it really reminds me of that famous country song. He gave me his hair, but he stole my heart. Well, next up tonight, John Faulkner, the Labor senator and I want to say Zodiac killer, appeared at the Revesby Workers Club last night to call for Labor Party reform.
And I say to those who resist the opening up of our structures to more participation and more democracy because they see their control over managed and pre-negotiated outcomes slipping away. Stop clinging to the wheel. You are steering us straight for the rocks.
And unless there's a Glen 20 for politics that I don't know about, the way you get Labor to clean itself up is to remind the party faithful of its dirty past, just like Faulkner did at the New South Wales ALP conference back in July.
Look what the current system's delivered. Eddie O'B, Ian McDonald, Tony Kelly. I won't even mention the $348,366.87 of party members' money that paid for the legal bills of Craig Thompson.
Yeah, but you did just mention it. Another Labor broken promise. And Faulkner hasn't just been banging this drum this year.
The key point is to give party members a real say. Give them a reason to be involved in who represents them in Parliament.
That was 2012.
The party has now become so reliant on focus groups that it listens more to those who don't belong to it than to those who do.
And that was 2011, right after he co-authored a report into Labor and its performance at the 2010 election.
Members feel alienated and disenfranchised in the modern Labor Party.
So I think you could safely say this has been on Faulkner's mind for quite a while.
I may just be an unborn baby, but this party's principles are softer than my tiny, unfused skull.
Even then, I think you could tell that baby would go on to become one of America's most notorious serial killers. Oh, it's Alex Lee!
Hi, Tom. With all this talk of Labor's problems, it's hard to tell if anyone is on Labor's side, which means it's time to play Australia's favourite game show. Who said it? The Liberal or the Labor Party?
You might have heard it, you might have read it, but who said it? Who said it?
Oh, I love this game. Wait, no, I'm thinking of a different game. I'm thinking of Boggle.
All right, Tom. Round one. Who said this about Labor on the campaign trail in 2013?
The electorate cannot wait to vote out this chaotic, divided party, no matter who leads it to the polls.
That's classic Abbott.
Sorry, Tom, that was Mark Latham. Write a diary about it, Mark. Round two. Who said this about New South Wales Labor before the 2011 state election?
I can't think of a single reason why they should have been re-elected on the weekend. It was an appalling soap opera, and it ended. And I think everyone in New South Wales is relieved.
Tony Abbott.
Nope. It was a Labor minister in the South Australian government, Tom Koutsantonis. Now round three, Kevin Rudd. A lot of hatred for that guy, but who said this about him?
This crypto-fascist made no effort to build a base in the party.
Tony Abbott.
No, it wasn't. It was an unnamed Labor power broker. So much power, so little face. Now we have time for one bonus question. Who said this?
Over the years, the Labor Party has made a monumental contribution to this country. The Labor Party, at its best, has been a nation-building party.
Ooh, Gough Whitlam?
So close, Tom. It was Tony Abbott. What? Shows you why he definitely isn't in the Labor Party.
Have you ever been harshly critical of the Labor Party? Are you a Liberal MP? Or are you just part of a political party that has some serious self-esteem issues? Do you need to have a chat about it? We'd love to hear about it at The Roast TV or hashtag RoastTV.
But perhaps part of the problem is that when you talk about reforming Labor, you're actually talking about a huge collection of disparate groups and interests whose views often don't align and sometimes directly clash. I mean, within Labor, you've got the latte-sipping left, socialists, Chardonnay socialists, old party faithful, the faceless men, union members, and union bosses. This, of course, contrasts with the Liberal Party, who has conservatives and slightly less conservative conservatives. So no wonder Labor is finding it hard to change. But if getting their lowest primary vote in a century at the last election won't do it, well, what the hell will? Maybe Faulkner's right.
Labor, consider this an intervention.
Not from you. Oh, Labor.
Look at yourself, Labor. You're a mess. Craig Thompson, Eddie Obeid, Michael Williamson, the Pink Bats, the spill, the second spill, that other spill with all and the Royal Commission into Union Corruption. Then there's the self-harm. How many times you knifed your own back, Labor?
You saying Labor has a problem?
Oh, come on, Tom. Don't pretend like you haven't noticed it. All the time Labor's come home stinking of union money. Oh, they'll tell you they were working late, but you can see the lies in their eyes.
Yeah, and they come back with another man's lipstick on their collar.
I know, buddy. Labor, you've got problems, okay? You're headed towards rock bottom. I'm talking Simon Cream rock bottom. You don't talk to us anymore. You can barely do your job. You're always in court. They keep saying, it's fine, baby, I'm ahead in the polls. But you said the same thing in 1998, and in 2001, and in 2004, and you blew it. And then comes 2007, where you finally grow enough backbone to take the crown. And what do during the first term of the most popular Prime Minister Australia's ever had? You stab him in the back and you blow it! And now look at you, huh? Throwing around your clever little catchphrases like they're policy alternatives and whining that, ooh, if we were in power, we'd be doing it better. We are not, because you blow it! Now you're playing second fiddle to a billionaire who's become the de facto opposition leader while you lie in a ditch, filling your own pants with your own disgrace. Oh, but what's that? You have to testify in front of ICAC this morning? Well, you can't, because you're wearing shit-filled pants and Kate McClymonds gonna write a book about it.
Well, thank you, Nick. And judging from Labor's success at reforming itself in the past, I'm sure we'll hear Faulkner making this same speech when he looks like this. Oh, someone arrest that man before he kills again. Good night.
You blow it!